What's up guys, Moses here again, and I have with me another ESP USA guitar. This is the ESP USA M2. And yeah, this is just like the other one that I own. Unlike this one, it's great, fantastic, but I'll talk about later on what I think about this guitar. As always, I'll be talking about the specs first and later on, the good stuff. So just like the other one, you have the spec sheet, and then you also have the certificate of authenticity. Pretty cool. Tells you the date, and what I like about these one-off models, not one-off models, but the finishes, is that they're very unique and you don't really see them on the configuration website. So every now and then they'll do something crazy like this. But yeah, let's talk about it. This is the Hellfire finish. I believe there's also one on a Eclipse and an Arrow, I think. But yeah, you may have seen this floating around forums or, I don't know, Facebook pages about ESP guitars. But yeah, this is a fantastic finish. I don't know how well the camera picks it up from here. I'll give you a better close-up on the headstock. But yeah, this thing is crazy. This reminds me of like an exotic plant. It's got like a lot of crazy designs going on. You got this red dark color, you got this like yellow, hints of orange. It's like a crazy blend. It's like you're looking into like a pit of hell or something. And if pretty much that's what they were going for, I think. Or the fires of hell, and I think they did a good job, even though one can assume what it looks like. Super sick. On the back you just have the natural wood look. Gloss though. Everything about this guitar is gloss. But yeah, that's about it for just the finish. But now let's talk about the body. We have a mahogany body. We have a plain maple top. And there is no binding at all other than the binding along the neck. Along the body of the guitar. The spec sheet says that there isn't a binding, but I think it looks like there's binding on the body, but it's just the top that gives it that nice little like stripe look along the whole body. It's really nice. It says that there isn't, but very nice to look at. Other than that, we have a neck through construction. Easy access up here. It's very easy to play up here. I have smaller hands, so I have to kind of arc my hand and thumb this way. So sometimes guitars with like the access isn't so good, your knuckles or the back hand hits this horn. This, none at all. It's really, really good. It's very easy to play. Love it. This is a very, very nice neck through construction. It's awesome. Alright, now let's talk about the neck. So this is a 3-piece maple neck. Ebony fingerboard, 25.5-inch scale length. The nut width is 43 millimeters. The material of this nut is bone. So for the fingerboard, we have a 12-inch radius. Now for the thickness of this neck, you have a 19 millimeter measurement up here on the first fret, and then as you gradually go down, it flattens down to a 21 millimeter radius. But man, this neck is very smooth to play. It's relatively flat for like an ESP. I played some E2s where the neck is a bit chunky, but this is very, very thin. But it still feels like an ESP. It's very easy to play. I'm not the biggest fan of gloss necks, but this isn't sticky at all. Even after playing it for like an hour or two, of course it'll build up grime, right? But it doesn't stick so disgusting, right? It's very smooth. I trying to find out a better way to explain it, but yeah, it isn't sticky, and you can glide up and down really fast, and it doesn't get as gunky as fast as other necks that have a gloss finish, but it's a bit thicker. This isn't a very thick gloss. We have 24 extra jumbo frets. These are stainless, yeah, according to the spec sheet. So, and they're Jescar, so they're super high quality. You find Jescar frets on the snappers that I have. A lot of the original series and the artist models have Jescar, either stainless steel frets or just regular nickel frets. So as long as you get like Jescar, you're good to go. They're gonna last a long time, and they feel great, and they're huge. They have like a scallopy type of finish because of how pretty wide and big those frets are. You don't feel too much contact with your fingers across the fingerboard if you have a light touch. Again, with the USA models, the truss rod is on the headstock, whereas I'd prefer to have it down here where it's just much easier to access. That would probably be the only complaint I have about this, but even then it's just so minimal where it's like not even worth bringing up. I mean, sure, it would be awesome to have it down here, but this is great too. No big complaints at all. Alright, so now we can talk about the hardware. So we have all black hardware. We have a master volume, a master tone, and we got a coil split over here just like the other one that I have. You get some really good single coil tones. They're very, very spanky. They're very bright, very reminiscent of like a Strat. I mentioned this before where some single coils aren't that good in my opinion. Like either they kind of sound a little too weird or there's just something lacking about them. With these, it just sounds great. You get that immediate single coil tone that I love, and I think a lot of people do too. Other than that, we have a 3-way toggle switch. Bridge, middle neck, that's it. And we have Spurzo locking tuners. These tuners stay in tune very, very well. I also just noticed with the black hardware on these tuners, you have those chrome or nickel posts. Pretty cool, I just noticed. It gives a nice aesthetic to the guitar. Lastly, we have a Tone Pros Tunematic bridge, very stable. I just noticed that this is very, very low, and the action of this guitar overall is super low, super easy to play, and there's just no buzzing. For how low the action on this guitar is, it's almost like, it reminds me of like a hip shop bridge where it's just like flat against the body. This comes super close. And of course you have a string through body construction. I believe this adds a bit more sustain and warmth when you have a configuration like this. And yeah, it's great for rhythm tracking especially. This, you can seriously chug on something like this. Other than that, we've got the good old Seymour Duncan pickups. On the bridge, we have a custom, and on the neck, we have a jazz. Pretty standard pickup configuration from what you can expect from ESP USA. I believe they also offer EMG pickups for a bit of a higher price, but these pickups sound great. I'd honestly prefer these Seymour Duncans because the custom has good output and you can even get some really good mellow tones. It covers a lot of ground. And the jazz, well, classic pickup. It still holds up to this day. It's fairly old and it sounds great. You get some really nice cleans out of it, and then the leads are very silky and smooth that I personally love, especially if you combine the coil tap with it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you would be pretty satisfied with how this guitar sounds. Along with that, the resonance of this guitar is insane. when I was just playing the clean stuff, it was just resonating, and I felt like the vibration I was getting from the guitar was kind of transferring to my arm. And I don't know, it feels good to play this guitar. I know it sounds weird, but it really is. These guitars have a nice resonance that, you know, it feels good to play. Alright, so that covers the specs. Now I'll give you guys my overall impressions and opinion. As you can assume, it's fantastic. I have nothing bad to say, really. I mean, going back to the only complaint I have about this is just the truss rod cover. But that's pretty much, not really worth mentioning. Of course, it's a more easier to access to have it down here, but whatever. It's not, of course, it will never be a deal breaker. The finish of this is fantastic. If this was a 7-string guitar, it might be one of my main ones, because this thing's insane. And I was pretty surprised when I tried this guitar first, because I'm trying to compare it to my ESP Andromeda Arrow, which is an original series. It's the super high-end ones too, and the feel of those guitars is very similar. As far as the neck feel and the gloss, lacquer, it's very, very close. And yeah, going back to what I said, I think ESP is just pretty much up there with the Japanese stuff. I know they received a bit of, I wouldn't say backlash, but there was some negativity with the, in the earlier 2010s or so forth, people didn't have too many nice things, or they just said it's just as good as an E2, but the guys working there now and their artist that does these crazy paint jobs is killing it. And yeah, whenever I see something like this, I'm super tempted to buy it, but yeah, I gotta stop. So unfortunately, this isn't mine. It has to go back to its rightful owner. If you guys haven't tried out an ESP USA, I highly recommend it, because you're going to appreciate and the craftsmanship of, what we have here in the US, because we all know the Japanese craftsmanship is top of the line, but the USA stuff is just as good. No fret edges that are rough, stays in tune. It's great. This came off because I kind of unscrewed this by accident. It didn't break. That was just my fault. That's about it for this review. If you guys have any questions, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, have a nice day.